Hello everybody.
Hello. Today we are looking at this tiny little game. You have to zoom in to see it.
Yeah.
This
I
is
think I just do that on overlay, to be fair.
that's
like
true.
I always do. So anyway.
Anyway, this is Bohnanza the Duel. Whatever it is. 2-player, obviously, hence the name The Duel. This is Rio Grande Games, but a 2-player variant of a game I've not played, which is Bohnanza.
This is Uwe Rosenberg, the sort of famous designer. You've probably got some favourite games by him anyway. Very unusual. It's quite an early game from him, and it's very unusual to the normal stuff that he does. And Bohnanza. The full game. I think it plays up to 6. Might be 8. I don't know, but it's for a more player count. This is the dual version of it, and it works really well. It's completely different to the full game.
This is set collection.
Well, I say complete. Yeah.
Set collection.
Card management. Yeah.
Trading.
Hand management. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it works. The general premise works the same way as the big game.
I've not played the big game, so I wouldn't know.
But it's and the cards are the same. You know, the sort of same graphics on the cards and all that stuff. The beans and plant in the field. So the general premise is the same, but the way that it actually plays is completely different. So that it enables you to play as a 2-player. So let's try and explain how it plays and sort of what the differences are.
And then what we think about it.
And then what we think about it. Okay, so the way that it plays generally, pack of cards, and on the back of the cards are gold coins, and they count as your gold victory points. Yeah. So the one with the most gold at the end wins. So you're aiming to build up the most stock of gold when you sell your beans, basically. And you start with a big draw deck, which you take 5 off each. So you have 5 cards to start in your hand of 5 varying types of beans. There are 10 different types of beans, I think. And you're going to figure it out now, aren't you? Hold on. 8. Okay, there are 8 different types of beans. Or 10 or 9.
No,
and they make up different values of, so that the lesser there are of those types of beans in the deck, they're worth kind of more gold coins for getting.
But all the soya beans are the same value, and all the stinky beans are the same value.
So what do you point me then? Stink beans.
And chili beans and all that. They're all the same.
You're doing all the examples this time, were you?
Yeah, okay. And the chili beans are always 20, if I remember rightly. And
good memory. But yeah, so I mean, the value is relative to the scarcity, if you like, of the bean in the deck. And the idea is you have 5 cards from the draw deck, and it's quite a thick draw deck. It takes probably half an hour to play through that deck. You also have a set of cards laid out across the middle of the table between you, which are trading kind of posts, if you like, where you would trade or gift, as it's called in this game, cards to each other. And this is what's different to the main game. The main game, when you trade, you kind of pick someone that you want to trade with, or you say to everybody who wants some of these stink beans, for instance. And depending on who wants them the most, you can kind of trade. Oh, well, actually, if you give me 3 of your chili beans, because I want to collect those, I'll let you have this stink bean. Whereas somebody else might say, well, no, I'll give you 5. And okay.
So there's more of a negotiation.
Yeah, and that works great, obviously, in a player count higher than sort of 3 or 4. But in a 2-player game, you can't do that, because it's like, do you want them? No. Okay.
Yeah.
So this way, it forces you to play it. So we'll get to that mechanic in a minute. So that's a different thing. You start with 3 gold coins, so you just randomly 3 cards stacked down an actual kind of beginning count of coins. Yeah. And then there's another little deck, which is a deck of bonus cards, and they bonus cards, and they are spelled like that in the rule book. Bonus cards, and they allow you to get bonuses along the way, depending on how the bean fields have planted out.
The order, the order that you'll put them in.
Yeah. And so what you do then, you take it in turns. You've got 5 cards, and then you've got 3 bonus cards at the back of your hand. So 5 and then 3. The 5 cards that you've got are never allowed to move position. So you kind of, when you play card games normally, you tend to shuffle cards into suits and things like that. And in this game, you're not allowed to. So let's say, for instance, this is your sequence of cards in your hand, obviously layered up. You have to play this card first. and then you have to play this card, and then you have to play this card.
So
You
tricky
cannot
because
just
you
say,
really
"Oh,
want to
this-
play
yeah, you
that
wanna play
one
this one."
first. That one.
Exactly. But that's the point, and that's the tricksiness of this game, and it works the same in the main version. It's exactly the same thing. And so what you do, you've got your cards, and you've got 3 available bean fields to you. You can play again. That's different to the main one. The main one's 2, and you have to. I think if from memory, I think you can buy an extra bean field later on, but it starts with just 2. So you can plant up to 1 or 2 cards on your turn. So it's like 4 phases to the game each turn. You can plant 1 or 2 cards down onto your bean field. And then you take 3 cards off the top of the deck and lay them out, and they are your trade stock, if you like. So you can trade any one of those with the other player, and or any in your hand as well. You can
you can offer one of them. Yeah,
you can also bluff at this point, which we'll get to as well. And so the 3 cards you've laid out, you look at those and you think, well, I can quite simply play all of those cards onto my bean fields without any problems.
Having to get rid of one to me.
So I'm happy to take all them, but this one that I have to play next, which is kind of the next one you have to play in your hand, at the front of your hand, I'm really going to struggle to lay that down. So I'm going to trade this one. I'm going to suggest that I give this one to bear. And so what you do, you look at the bean sort of selection in the middle, and there's one of each type in order, sort of 8, 10, 12, and so on. And you look and you say, well, this is a 12 that I don't want in my hand. So I'm going to push the 12 towards her. And she either then has to accept it or make a counter offer, again, of one of the ones in her hand, because she's not got any down in the space. It's just the active player.
So I might really want that 12.
Yeah.
Or I do not want that 12.
Yeah, so if she really wants it, she'll just take it. And obviously I can kind of look at it and think, oh, well, actually she's going to want to take that 12 and I really don't want it. So, or alternatively, I could offer her one of the 3 that are down. So if they're 2 that are down there, I can lay them out, no problem. I don't want one of the others. I can say, actually, there's a 16 there. I'm going to push that towards it. And these numbers I'm quoting they're relative to the bean type. So like chili beans, I think you said 20. Aren't they?
Stink beans are 16.
She always calls me a stink bean.
You stink.
When we play this game for some reason. Anyway, so
it looks like you.
Really? So none taken.
Cut to a picture of a stink bean. See?
Nothing like me. Anyways, if you go into this video and edit it and put a little picture of me over the top of this, there'll be trouble.
Well, that's giving me an idea now.
Anyway, so you push a card that you want to kind of reject, basically, get out of your way, and then she either has to accept it or she can make the counter offer, but she can't counter offer the same one you've pushed.
No,
so if I pushed a 16
Yeah.
and she wanted to get rid of the 16,
Yeah.
oh damn it, I can't do that. So she
Yeah.
puts an 18 or 12 or whatever. And you just keep doing that. It takes a couple of seconds until one of you says, actually, yeah, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
And then you take that one and you lay it next to your bean field, sideways on, tapped as they call it in the trade.
And you have to plant that.
You have to plant that. So the active player then, so you've done your trade, you've decided who's having what. The active player then has to plant all 3 cards that he's got down, although he can discard one of those 3. So I'm not going to be able to plant that one, discard that into the discard pile. The other 2 you have to plant.
So you could end up planting all 3 and that one.
Yeah, you can do.
You're
legitimately
the one I just gave you. So
yeah. So you plant whatever you can. You can reject one of the face down ones. You can't reject one that's been gifted. And then you plant those in your fields. If you cannot plant them in your fields, but you have to harvest fields. And harvesting fields is basically the way of scoring your gold.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can harvest and not score any points, and the way that works is trigger to explain this. So harvesting works in this way. However many cards are in the stack, whatever card is on top, across the bottom it says the value of gold relative to the number of cards in the stack.
Cards? Yeah.
So if there, whatever the top card is, if it says on the top card, if there are 6 cards in this stack, you get 2 gold coins. You harvest that, you put 4 of them in the discard pile, and 2 turn face down as gold.
That wasn't hard to
coins.
explain.
No, it wasn't. But the bit that's tricky is the fact that, again, this is different to the main game. You harvest whatever's on the top.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's below, and this is the difference between the main game. In the main game, you can only plant bean types of the same type.
Oh, right.
And so that's why I'm clarifying that. So if you played the main game, if you have played the main game, you know that what it says on the top, if you've got 10 chili beans, because that's a chili bean on the top, and they're all chili beans underneath. If you've got 10 of them, you get 4 gold.
I'll give you an example of that, actually.
So they're all the same. You get 4 gold for 6 of them, and that's that. In this game, you are allowed to mix bean types. And in fact, again then, so the top card says if you've got 6 cards below this, it's irrelevant what type of beans they are. It's just if you've got 6 below, you get 4 gold. So you mix the bean types. The only kind of proviso when you mix the bean types, when you lay the cards, is they have to go up in number order. So they do this in the main game, but no, they don't do it. They don't do this in the main game. In the main game, they're all the same number. They're all the same type. In this game, when you lay a bean, so let's say you lay a 6, the next one that goes up can either be a 6 or an 8. And then when you lay an 8...
It can't be a 10.
No, and then when you lay an 8, it has to be an 8 or a 10.
Sequential.
Yes, they have to be the next card up, number-wise. And they go in 2s, 2, 4, 6, and they don't start at 2.
It starts at 6,
8, 10, 12,
up
14.
to 20.
Yeah. So you have to lay them in sequence if you go up in number. You can stay the same. You could have 6 20s. And in fact, they don't go higher than 20 anyway, so you could have 6 20s, but you could have 2 10s, 2 12s, a 14.
And why you're doing that is because of the bonuses. The bonuses are, for example, you need two of one type, and then 2 of another type, and then 1 of the other types. And then if you get that order, so you can have 2 8s, 2 10s, and a 12, that would get you the bonus.
It would. And they are, again, the bonuses are irrelevant of the type. They're just irrelevant. They're just a sequence. So 2, 2, 1 of any type would get you the bonus. So you have to keep an eye on your bonuses, and then when you literally, and you can play bonuses on either player's cards. So if I see that Bear's got that sequence in her cards, I've got that bonus.
Yeah, he did.
And
Does that a
you
lot.
get that gold. You just turn that bonus over as a gold, so that counts as a gold.
An example of the coins. Where if I lay 4 18s.
Yep.
I glance at the gold coin thing, and it says, if you get 4, you get 2 gold coins.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, that's okay. But I forget that if I put a 20 on top of that, it changes to the rules of the 20 card, and that could be less coins.
Yes.
For the same amount of cards.
Very true. Yeah.
And I've fallen foul of that, where I go, I'm going to get 3 coins. Oh no, I'm only going to get 2.
Yeah, you've changed it from an 18 to a 20. Yeah. And this is relevant again to the scarcity of the cards. So, for instance, 6s. I think if you've got 2 6s in a stack, that's 2 gold coins. And if you've got 3, it's 3 gold coins.
So it's the number of gold coins is equal to how scarce they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's based to the numbers on the
But then, like,
cards.
if you then laid an 8 on top of it, it changes it. It's not so lucrative. And then if you put 10 on top of that again, so even though you're getting more cards, because the higher numbers are less scarce, the gold coin value goes down. So the longer the pile of beans doesn't necessarily mean the more money that you're going to get. So you have to think carefully about when you're going to harvest. So you can harvest any time during your game, during your go, but you have to harvest if you can't lay.
If you've got if you want to clear one of your fields.
And there is a little sub rule of that as well. If you've got bean fields with just 1 card, and you've got bean fields with more than 1 card, you have to harvest the one with more than 1 card. You can't harvest the smallest one with just 1 card on it, just for convenience. You have to harvest
makes sense.
One of the others. But you tend not to do that anyway, because the game goes too fast and you build up too quickly. But that's just
it really. When you've harvested or planted, you replenish, don't you?
You plant your ones that you've got. And if I've managed to gift one of my cards to Bear, that's the only card she's got to plant, obviously. But so the active player does their planting. Then if Bear's got one that I've gifted to her, she plants that. Then I replenish, and you don't replenish all the way back up to 5. No. You literally take 2 off the deck and put them in the back of your 5. Well, what was the queue?
Back of the queue.
Yeah, the back of the queue. They go between your bonuses and the ones in your hand. So pick 2 up. If you've used up any bonuses, you replenish that back up to 3. And then that's my go done. Yeah. And then it would be Bear's go, and she would plant 1 or 2 cards.
Plant the one you gave me.
Yeah. No, you plant that anyway.
Oh, at the time.
Yeah. So you'd plant one or two cards as part of her go. Then she'd draw the three cards out. That
3 for trading.
For trading and gifting and so on. And you just take it in turns.
It sounds a bit more complicated than actually.
Yeah, it's quite hard to explain it in that way. But honestly, when you read it, it's not too bad. And once you've played it once, it's dead simple.
Yeah, it makes sense. Quite easy. Quite quickly, you can pick up on what
absolutely.
you're doing.
Yeah, and you go back and forth until the draw deck's completely exhausted, and the one with the most gold coins wins. The bonus cards, they've got a gold coin on the back as well, so they count as a gold coin, but on the front there's like a pennies value. Some of them are just 10 pennies, some of them are 70, some of them are 40, some of them are 100, which is a gold coin. And so you count up all your gold coins, and then if you've got any bonuses, you count up the value of your pennies and add them. So you might make 3 or 4.
Pennies make pounds.
Yeah, absolutely. You might make 3 or 4 more gold coins out of that, and then you count up whoever got the most wins. We played a game last night, in fact. We played it a couple of times this last week. We played a game last night, and with my pennies, I very nearly caught you.
Oh, yeah, you're like £1.50 away from me or something like that.
You beat me. It seemed
Finally,
like you beat
always
me
wins.
You seemed like you beat me by 3 or 4 gold coins, didn't it? And then I said, oh, don't forget my pennies.
And your pennies added up.
Yeah, and I nearly called, but she beat me. But yeah, so the pennies do actually matter. But that's it. Very straightforward game. It feels like a card game, doesn't it? It feels like, say, Gin Rummy if you played that kind of game.
Or Happy Families. For me.
Most probably. Mrs. Bun.
Yeah, anyway, Mrs. Bun the baker.
It's...
Because you're trying to collect families of beans, really, aren't you?
Yes, right, okay, yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, same...
Mr. and Mrs. Stink.
Again, like Gin Rummy, where you're trying to collect sets of cards. So it does feel like a proper card game rather than, say, Lost Cities, which feels like a weird kind of and it doesn't feel like a card game. I mean, it feels like a weird sort of version of a card game. This feels like an actual card game. Plays very much like that.
It works well with 2. It works well with 2. You don't feel like you're missing players.
No, not at all. No, I mean, if you've played the full version and you played and you want to play this version, you will get it. And you will. The differences are quite.
You won't feel like
dramatic.
this doesn't feel right with 2.
No, but it does. I know. Well. I've played both versions, and this does feel it's a very good fix for a 2-player version of that game, because the game is fun. It's just the trading version of it was.
Yes.
The trading aspect of the big game is unusable for 2 players, obviously, because you can't do that kind of.
You can't negotiate really, can you? Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this fixes it really nicely. Works really well. We like it. Let's see how much we like it. So shall I go first? Yeah,
we'll just do thoughts first.
Okay, thoughts.
I like it. I don't love it. I don't think as much as you.
No, I get that. Yeah.
The reason being, for me, it just seems a bit long.
Yes.
Slightly a bit long.
Yeah, the deck is kind of this thick.
Yeah, and it feels like you've got a lot of work to get through.
Yeah, this is the deck is sort of split in 2 here, so if you kind of think of that box twice as thick, that's kind of more or less how deep the deck is. So the deck is that thick, and it takes half an hour to get through, and so maybe 20
more
minutes.
Than half an hour. Probably.
Yeah, maybe 20 minutes in, you're thinking that's enough time now.
It's got 45 minutes on the box, so it probably was about 45 minutes. Yeah, I think after half an hour, you're like. Yeah, I get it. We're collecting beans.
Yeah, I get that. That's fine. Yeah, it probably could be a little bit shorter, so fewer cards in the deck.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I found it slightly tricksy when you have to get them in sequential order. Is that the right word? It's just it's quite tricky because if you can't got the right cards in the right order, and you can't. If you've not given me one as a gift, I'm like, I need to harvest.
The first couple of times we played it where you were just playing a card. When you were planting, we were just playing cards equal to or higher than the card that was there.
Yeah, we were putting like 8, 12, 20, weren't we?
Then we realised, actually, no, you have to do it in 8, 10, 12,
and that made
14, 16.
It makes it even harder.
Yeah. So you have to definitely do it in sequential order, with just the next number up. You can't do 2 or 3 numbers higher. And the
first time we played it, I was concentrating on the bonuses, which makes it even more harder because you need to get your orders of like one of one kind, 2 of another one.
The bonuses are good, but
I don't think they're that important as the harvesting, because you get coins for harvesting and you get pennies for the bonuses. So
you can get kind of caught up with looking for the bonuses.
You do get a gold coin with a bonus as well, because you get the back of it.
But I'm just saying, you're torn between, do I carry on building that field up
just to get coins,
just to get a bonus, which is 10
just to
coins.
Get the bonus,
yeah, exactly. Or do I actually harvest it now, which is actually 3 gold coins? and you can kind of get yourself confused.
I get stuck on. I've got to get one more of a different type to go with that bonus. But I think if I just harvest it, I get more money.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
that's, so once I got over the bonus thing, it was flowing a bit better. I like the illustrations as well,
and the fact you have to pay attention to the other players' bean fields.
Yeah,
you can
it's almost like the bonuses are to watch the other person's.
Maybe
just in case, and then constantly just harvest yours. That's my new right. Let's play again.
I like it. Yeah.
I shouldn't have told you that.
No, you shouldn't have. That's a good idea. And you ignore the fact that you're just harvesting.
Yeah.
Like it.
Because a few times, last time we played it, I had 3 bonus cards. You get 3 bonus cards, and I literally looked over yours. I hadn't been paying attention to your harvest, and I said,
yeah.
And I had all 3 bonuses.
Yeah, off of what I'd done.
Orders 3 piles. So I was like, ding.
That's a good point, actually. That's a very good point.
Might be
a good tactic.
Playing that way. Oh, damn, I shouldn't have told you that. Nice. But okay, so it's a good card game. I'm not in love with it. There are the other card games we played that I prefer.
Sure. You like the illustrations, don't you? They're all
I do.
Quite fun.
Stink bean.
Yeah. I'll put it up again now with a picture of her on it.
So I think... do you want to do your thoughts first or do you want my score?
No, I agree with your thoughts.
Always, as you should.
My thoughts are your thoughts. No, I agree.
I'm always right.
Yeah, I like that. I like that trading session in the middle. That's quite nice.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of trading and negotiating and all that stuff, so it doesn't wow me. But you like that.
Yeah, the graphics are okay. The graphics, the design,
the CGI is great.
And it's very handy. Nice little handy size.
Yeah, it's a holiday one, isn't it?
Yeah. And I do like the bigger version, so it was a shame that I couldn't play that with you. I played it in a board game club that I go to, and I thought, this is great, I really like that. And then a couple of weeks later, I spotted this, and I thought, oh wow, cool. So I was quite pleased to be able to buy this. So from that point of view, for us as a 2-player sort of mainly setup, this was great. So I like it for all those reasons, and I do like the game. I think it plays well. It's quite. I mean, Uwe Rosenberg,
Rio Grande game is a good
genius.
game.
Yeah. So for all those reasons, I like it a lot. So I'll score. I'll just go with my standard 7 because it's kind of around about the same. I know. Well, no, it's not like stunning. So like 8 or 9.5. It's it's a nice, good, dependable game. So 7. All right, I'll go 7.5.
Oh, you can't even mind.
Well, you taught me up now.
I didn't say anything.
7.5. No, 7.5. I'll give you 9.
I'm a bit further down, so I do like it, but yeah, it's okay for me personally. I do like the illustrations.
That's the word I was after.
Yeah. But I'm not in love with it, and it's a bit too long for me, I think. So I'm going to go for 5.
Well, that was a very gentle way of going.
It's okay if 2. No, 5. 5 for me. I think it's.
Well, it's average.
It's average. Yeah,
that's fair enough. Yeah. So
what's that?
12.5.
12.5.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, it's
not bad.
I think it deserves higher, but I get that you're not.
Sorry, got to work harder.
Must try harder.
Let's try harder.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I get the fact that it's quite long.
Maybe I'm just not a big fan of beans.
Okay. So 12.5. But if you like the full version of this and you wish you had a smaller version, definitely get this.
Yes.
But there you are. It's kind of it is what it is. It's a tricksy little card game, which is
maybe it's just I'm not as clever as you, so it's a bit trixier for me.
I doubt that. I mean, maybe it's just more tricksy than it is fun for you.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? It's got that kind of like brain burn.
Yeah, I can't figure out what to do for the best.
It's got that slightly AP brain burny sort of feel to it, which takes away a little bit of the fun of it for you. So it drops it down that couple of points. So I get that, that's fine. But for me, it's just like, oh, cool. This is I'm enjoying this kind of journey. So there you are. Hopefully that's been helpful for you. Bohnanza the Duel, 12.5. Bohnanza, and obviously now, yes, I was going to say now you're going to slap me with a glove. Yeah, I wish I brought a glove.
Should have
I should put pause on this video and I'll run and get one off. Glove slap.
You should do the
what?
When you turn your back and go 1, 2, 3. That's a duel, isn't it?
It is a duel.
There you go.
Okay, we're not going to do that either.
Oh,
so all these things we could have done, we're not going to do. Maybe I'll just overlay Simpsons.
Yeah, glove slap.
But then our video would get banned by copyright. Anyway. burbling on. Thank you guys. Hopefully this has been useful for you. Check out the rest of our videos, see if there's anything that you fancy buying on our recommendation. Let us know if you've done anything of that.
Let us know if you want us to review any other game that you see on our list.
Yeah, on our Board Game Geek list. Or on the
and please like and subscribe.
Yeah, always like and subscribe, obviously.
Obviously.
Okay, guys, thanks very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-da!
Bye-bye.